I'm ready to do my UFC 105 picks. It's quite interesting for me because UFC 105 happens to be taking place in Manchester. That of course was the place that I went to at UFC 70. It's also interesting to see that there's a lot of the same people on the card. But it is interesting that we've got a lot of the same people on the card. You know, Randy Couture in the main event was actually there last time. He didn't compete, but he was there. And they do have a habit of putting the same people on the same card. And a lot of times they're marketing actually the British fighters to the British public, which I always think is a bit weird because, you know, if people wanted to see that, they could go to places like Cage Rage, couldn't they, or something like that. I'm not saying that they shouldn't include British people on a British card in the UFC, but it would be interesting, wouldn't it, to for them actually to pay for the British people to go to the US and for the English people to actually see some of the Americans and not the same Americans time and time again. Is Andre Winner, and he is fighting yes, it is Rolly Delgado, isn't it? Yes, I think it is. This has Ground War written all over it. Andre Winner is 9-3. His past outside of the Ultimate Fighter is not so good. It's loss, draw, loss. So it would be really nice for him to actually win. He usually wins and loses by decision. But he has beaten the likes of Jeff Lawson, Sam Berwick and Mario Stapel, who you might know is one of the European fighters who is also with the Hit Squad. Aroli is 6-4. He usually wins by submission and loses by decision. He too is coming off a loss. I think that Andre Winner will take it all the way to decision and win. I'm not sure he will be able to finish Rolly because I think Rolly is a little bit slippery, a little bit like a fish, a bit slippery, might sort of pop out of his hands. But I think he probably has enough submission defence not to get caught in a submission. So I'm going to go for Andre Winner by decision. The next match is Paul Kelly, who's fighting out of the Wolf Slayer in Liverpool. He is fighting Dennis Siver. Now Dennis Siver is 14-6. He's got 8 submission wins, but also 4 submission losses. He is on a 3-fight win streak. He's won over the likes of Nate Moore, but he's lost to the likes of Jess Leodon, Melvin Guillard and Gray Maynard. Paul Kelly is 9-1. He has losses by submission, please note that, but he's got wins by TKO. His losses are to people like Marcus Davis. His wins are over people like Sammy Berwick and Paul Taylor. Now, this is obviously going to be stand-up versus submission. I think that Dennis Siver is going to go for the ground, and I think Paul Kelly is, because he loses by submission, is probably best keeping it standing. I'm going to go out and say that because he's been finished by the likes of Leodon and Guillard and Maynard, I think that Paul Kelly should win this one. I'm going to go therefore by TKO in the second for that. Nick Ozzy, goodness knows how you say his name, him, and Matt Riddle. Now, Matt Riddle is fighting out of Extreme Couture, and he has a perfect record of 3. All of them are by decision. All his wins are by decision. Nick has a perfect record of 4, and he's never seen a decision in his life. He mostly wins by submission. Do you know, I'm going to say that I think that Nick will win this one by submission. I'm going to go for a bar in the second with that. Moving on, Terry Eatim, who I know from Cage Gladiators, now defunct, is fighting Shannon Gockerty, who is 13-3. Quite evenly matched. Terry is 13-2. He's got 10 submission wins, and all his losses are by decision. He has never been finished. He is on a 3-fight win streak, with wins over the likes of Sam Stout and Matt Grice. Losses to the likes of Rich Clementi and Gleison Tibau. Shannon has 9 submission wins, won over the likes of Cub Swanson and Matt Grice, so they have that in common. But he's also lost to the likes of Cub Swanson and Spencer Fisher, so I am going to therefore say that I don't think that Shannon is going to give Terry his first finish. I think this is going to be another one of those ground matches, and I think Terry Heaton is going to take it. I'm going to go for Terry by choke in the third. Paul Taylor, 10-4, is fighting John Hathaway, 11-0. Both of them win usually by TKOs. Paul has a habit of losing by submission. His background is win, loss, loss, win, loss, win. He's lost to the likes of Marcus Davis and Paul Kelly, whereas John Hathaway has beaten the likes of Rick Story and Tom Egan. Do you know, this is going to be a very close match, and I actually do think that John Hathaway is probably going to win this one. I don't know if I want to go for TKO though. I think I'm going to go for the decision. I think I'm going to go John Hathaway decision on this. I think it could be close. I think it could be a split decision. Aaron Riley, 28-11, with 13 submission victories and 10 decision victories, but 5 TKO losses. To the likes, by the way, losses of Spencer Fisher, Robbie Lawler and Chris Little. So he has fought a lot of names, a lot of experience there. He is fighting Ross Pearson at 9-3. With 5 submission wins, and he is on a 2-fight win streak. Ross Pearson, of course, I know also from Cage Gladiators. I am going to go out on a limb and say I think Ross Pearson should actually stand up with him. If he does that, I'll go... I'm going to say I think I'll go for Ross Pearson by TKO in the third, but I don't think that will probably happen. I just don't know. James Wilkes, 6-2, wins by submission, loses submission also and decision. He's on a 4-fight win streak, and he's just beaten DeMarcus Johnson, you'll remember. He is fighting Matt Brown, who is 10-7, and he is associated with George Gergel. Now, he wins by TKO and submission, but he also loses by submission. He is on a 2-fight win streak. I think Matt Brown will take this one. I do think Matt Brown will take this one. I think it will be submission. I'm going to go for choke in the second there. Michael Bisping is facing Dennis Kang. Michael is 17-2. Dennis is 32-11 out of American Top Team with 15 submission wins, 12 TKO wins and 7 submission losses. Do you know, if Dennis plays this right, and he comes in properly, like he should, he will probably win this one without too much problem. I shall say that I don't know about the TKOs. I'm going to go for a TKO though in the second, I think, by Dennis Kang there. Not a fan of Michael Bisping anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Mike Swick out of American Kickboxing Academy with a record of 14-2, 7 wins by TKO and is on a 4-fight win streak, is facing Dan Hardy, who is 22-6, 11 TKO victories, 3 submission losses. He is on a 6-fight win streak. Do you know, the problem is I like both these people. I do think that this could well be a fight of the night. They do both seem to like to stand up, so this could well be a stand-up match, and it will just depend on who gets the better of it. Swick I can see being a little bit more technical, but I don't see Hardy sort of withering away. I feel it's going to be a decision, but I don't know who's going to win that one. And Brandon Vera versus Randy Couture. I dare say I think Randy Couture is beginning to wind down a little bit now, so I'll go for Brandon Vera by decision.